Coming up on the show, the mighty Land Rover SUV on a jungle expedition. The all-new tech behind the latest Toyota Camry hybrid. Goodyear looks to enhance wet braking with a new range of tyres. And ambulances in Bangalore now on two wheels.
Hello and welcome to CNB Bazaar Buzz. This is the new Toyota Camry hybrid that's just been launched in the Indian market, and we'll have the full review of that on next week's show. But let's start our show with something of an expedition really, with the Land Rovers exploring the jungles of Kanha to showcase their off-roading skills. Here's a quick look at the action, not just in terms of off-roading, but also the exploration that happened inside the jungle.
In India, the LRE, as it's called, takes on a wild personality, exploring forest reserves. LRE, in association with the Born Free Foundation, ventured into two of the most beautiful national parks in the country, Pench and Kanha, known for their flora and fauna, with the tiger playing the starring role. CNB was along for the ride. After a short briefing in Nagpur, the 7 Land Rover Freelander 2s were lined up and ready, with Land Rover loyalists and some who were still uninitiated also ready to go. Majestic state highways of Maharashtra soon gave way to some rough terrain and rustic landscape. It was quite the convoy of vehicles, which included a Range Rover Sport and Range Rover Evoque, by the way, and soon we had crossed over to Madhya Pradesh. Barely a 2-hour drive from Nagpur airport is Pench National Park, named for the river that flows through. It was made famous as the inspiration to Rudyard Kipling for his novel Jungle Book. Though the actual forest reserve does not allow entry of private vehicles, Goodyear Motorsports that had organized the event had identified an off-road track in the buffer zone, which gave us all a taste of the terrain and forest itself. Steep slopes, dense foliage, and the excitement of catching up with the jungle's residents kept the group going. As the day ended, everyone looked forward to the actual jungle safari planned for day 2. It was 5 a.m. and already around 40 registered jeeps had lined up for the safari into Pench, just as they do every morning and afternoon. As we drove into the jungle, accompanied by a naturalist, we couldn't help but breathe in the crisp, clean air and absorb the sheer beauty of the national park. The tiger decided to stay elusive, but we caught a glimpse of many of the other animals that dot the landscape. Quite a great experience. Done, it was time to hit the road again and head to Kanha, about 150 kilometers away from Pench. This time the LRE team plotted a route that kept away from the highways so we could go a little off the road too. Roads are narrow and you need to be very attentive and careful because the villagers here aren't used to big vehicles going through and don't really care about traffic. But once we got back on the highway, it was time to appreciate the picturesque Satpura hills. our destination located on the banks of the Banjar River after a 3-hour drive from Pench. Kanha is predominantly a sal forest and has thousands of acres of open meadows too. And it is home to the Barasinghas, cheetahs, nilgais and bisons, besides the tiger. Having a knowledgeable naturalist also helps, as all your questions get answered and they understand the calls from the various animals. Driving swiftly through the jungle tracks, we happen to meet the unexpected. A fully grown tiger, and then a little later, a tigress decided to cross our path. It was quite special, and there was absolutely nothing more that we could have asked for.
Every new terrain has its new adventure thing to be looked upon. So this is really new for me in Madhya Pradesh, and I have never been here, so it's completely new. It's no different from any other country, because to explore you always have an option all the time.
I have done the JLR experience overseas, and I've got some basic training on off-roading from JLR, so therefore this experience was just like the icing on the cake to experience and do repeat exactly what we had done previously. The off-road experience inside the forest was very nice, and I think they really did a good job on locating the right track, and the only thing is we could have done it a little more intense, but it was still worth the trip.
As the expedition neared its end, it was time for some revelry and relaxation. Everyone was happy, especially as they reminisced the wonderful sightings of India's pride, the majestic tiger.